Oh,
All right. Wildlife pests. Let's see, can I go to the next one? There we go. Black vultures are native to Missouri. They began populating in the early 1990s. They are migratory birds, but you will see them throughout the year in Missouri. The average size is 23 to 27 inches tall and weigh about 3.5 pounds to 5 pounds. Black vultures versus turkey vultures. The black vultures have a bluish white tipped wings when they're fanned out and flying. Black vultures are completely black, where turkey vultures have a red head. Young turkey vultures will have black heads and can be confused with black vultures. Why black vultures are pests. Black vultures fly in packs and can kill a just born baby calf, can kill dogs small enough to fly away with, kill chickens and other young various livestock and wildlife animals, and they can cause a lot of property damage.
So, some pros and cons of black vultures are some pros. They scavenge and take care of roadkill and dead animals and just kind of keep everything cleaned up. When a vulture kills a live animal, there's usually a lot of blood. If there is no blood on the dead animal, then it was more likely dead before the vulture got to it. Some cons, it is illegal to kill or harm a black vulture without a permit according to Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. Another con is attacks, sick cattle, and cows calving or other young livestock. Moving on to feral hogs. Feral hogs became a problem in the 1990s when a group of people who wanted a population of hogs for hunting went around Missouri and dropped off farm hogs without state permission, spiking their populations. They carry diseases that humans and other animals can contract. They affect both biotic and abiotic components of the ecosystem. Some other issues with them, they destroy field crops, cause habitat and wildlife destruction, overpopulation, and zoonotic diseases. Oh my God, what happened? Okay.
wait, go. Can I go back? Can I change this? Can you go back to the pictures?
Oh, there we go.
So these are basically just examples of like their destruction to the fields. They dig in them and yeah, ruin them. Okay. I can't control the look. Are y'all controlling the thing? I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's on my end, so
Okay. so, so hogs is pests. So feral hogs are threatening Missouri farmlands by destroying crops and pastures and forests, like you just saw in the last picture. So these animals present harm risk and they are pretty heavy and strong animals. So people are also concerned with the potential zoonotic disease that can be passed on to humans. Some of these diseases are, I can't pronounce most of these, but brucellosis, swine influenza, and hepatitis. They can pass these from defecting defecating, on property or crops. They've also been waterborne bacterial levels in streams and irrigation canals. Okay. Can we? Oh, there we go. Sorry. So a little bit of background. Even though feral hogs are common in Missouri, their populations have recently started to grow. They, the more their population grew, more local farmers and communities start to see effects. People have regularly seen crops and pastures come up the crop with their own touch. All their rooting and wallowing can be very distinct to native plants, communities, and landscape areas.
Okay, their status. So MOFB has been dealing with this for more than a decade. It's been a problem for actually a really long time. it originally started in 2007, and when MOFB joined Governor Matt Blunt's Feral Hog Task Force. So essentially, this is what started it all when MOFB joined that group. Then kind of things started to become real, and they really started to try and dedicate time and energy into eradicating wild feral hogs. So this task force was especially concerned with the illegal transportation and release of these animals across the state. As said before, these animals were just getting dumped anywhere. So they really tried to crack down on that. MOFB has had to start increasing the penalty in Missouri from a misdemeanor to a felony for unintentionally or intentionally releasing a hog on any public land or private land. They also believe it should be a felony to hold alive or transport feral hogs without special permit from Missouri Department of Agriculture. So same as the vultures, they really do not want people kind of taking this burden onto their own hands. They would really rather deal with it themselves. MOFB policy. So speaking a little bit about that, MOFB believes that feral hogs are an unacceptable risk to humans, livestock, crops, and property. They believe that the eradication of all feral hogs is the ultimate goal and the biggest solution. Now, originally hearing this without prior background knowledge, this does seem very aggressive, as you know, to completely eradicate them. These animals are naturally here, so you know, if you don't know a lot about it, it can kind of seem like it's unfair just to completely, you know, wipe them out. Although MOFB does oppose any forms of profit to be made off of feral hogs or hunting them, so they've kind of taken a step back and really tried to not, you know, give a reward or anything like that to the illegal hunting of these animals. You could also say poaching. This helps to stop corruption because people won't just kill them without cause. And public lands are also public and private lands are also closed to feral hog hunting. So they believe that the agencies involved with the eradication should try removal and preferred replacement rather than just euthanizing them. So they really like to collect them all in big groups and then try and release them back to their native lands. Now this does comes with some risks and some positives. So this is something that kind of that can be talked about back and forth as well. But the frequent use of words like eliminate and eradication seems stern and maybe a little Jurassic, but I'm also not a farmer. So as I said, as a person from the outside, it can seem a little harsh. Now, why we can't hunt them. Over here, I wanted to speak about that picture that I have to the right. Those are the difference between a wild feral hog and then a deer. So the top one would be an imprint of a deer, and the bottom one would be a feral hog. Hogs have a flatter and more dense I don't know if I can call them toe box since they don't have toes, but the very top of their hoof is a little bit flatter, more wide. And then deers have their print will kind of be more dug into the ground towards the back than the front, as you can tell with the hog. But why we can't hunt them. So Missouri Department of Conservation has asked people not to hunt these feral hogs. You should definitely just report the feral hog sightings. And this is mainly because hogs are social beings and they travel in groups called sounders. So shooting one or two of these hogs can scatter a sounder and then it makes trapping them even harder, which makes sense. So if you have a group or a family of these hogs and then someone tries to shoot one, they will all get really scared and then they'll end up just, you know, completely dispersing and running away from each other. So when the actual people, like when Missouri Department of Conservation tries to come and address issues, instead of tracking where the entire group is going, now they'll have to find those smaller groups and trace those smaller groups. That's just not, it doesn't make sense for them to do that because they procreate very quickly. So by the time they find this one part of the original sounder, it's already split into a bigger group. And each group from that original sounder has then made their own families. And so then instead of trapping one big group, they have to go and trap, 5 separate groups. Hogs are also incredibly smart and they are very trap shy. So the more wary of the baited sites. Hogs are incredibly smart. So once they see something, it's really hard to fool them twice. Um, Especially, like I said, they live in groups. So in their own way, they teach each other about the baits and things like that. They pay attention to each other's body language, and one is scared that they'll all know that there's danger coming. So it's best to trap them collectively in groups, as hogs do have a high reproductive rate, as I said, and hunting one or two really won't help the effort. It'll kind of harm the effort. So they've really asked people not to do that. And then here is our works cited.